I, as usual, just recorded this entire video and then decided it wasn't good because it was 20 minutes long, and who in their right mind wants to spend 20 minutes listening to me talk? No one. Maybe my mom. Hi, Mom. I'm going to skip to the fun stuff first because I saved it to last time, and 20 minutes went by. And then I'm going to do some nerdy stuff. And there are a couple shout outs too, the fun stuff. This is not a real anything yet, so don't get your hopes up. I'm trying not to get my hopes up, but something cool happened this week that I got excited about. I was like, oh, I'll just make a video and throw in some extra. Oh, this is gnarly. I should trim that. Throw in some extra updates for folks because it'd be nice to know where we're headed, right? Okay, fun stuff. 2014, 2015, Kinograph had been around for about a year. The forums start to take off. Someone emailed me and said, hey, I've been working with these people up in Sweden. I think you should check them out. They say they have a whole archive full of scientific film of the Northern Lights, like observational film of the Northern Lights, like decades of it. You should contact them. At the time, I really wanted to, but I knew that I wasn't going to be able to do Kinograph full time, that I was a long ways away from it being finished. Okay, 20 minutes, make this short. I didn't do anything, but it became my North Star. It became the thing when I didn't want to do this or was thinking it wouldn't work. Like that project, the idea of going to Sweden and scanning that collection and also being able to stare up at the Northern Lights, beyond my wildest dreams. Because I feel like we're in a really good place and we're very close to the end here, I emailed them. I found them. They are the Swedish Institute of Space Physics. How friggin' cool is that? And basically, as I said that, we're almost done. This is who we are. We're here to help. Is it true? This is what I got back. Hi. It's true. The time series starts in 1956 and continues until now. Cameras operated every dark night with a nominal frame rate of 1 frame per minute. 16 or 35 millimeter black and white or color film was shot 1956 to 2004. 48 years of film. Digital started around 2003, and this is just Kiruna. I don't know if I'm saying that right, and I'm assuming it's a city in Sweden. There were several sites in operation from around 1957, and all of those films are in our archive. Furthermore, we have a world data center with similar films from all over the world, not to mention the Ionisond films, etc. Ionisond, I'm assuming, is something about the ionosphere being recorded on film. We're talking like comic book cool here. All films, here's what, God bless them. All films should be digitized before they are damaged by old age. Yes, amen. We have no resources to do this at present. Oh no, what should we do? Apart from equipment, this requires more or less at least one person handling the films and metadata. That's a problem. We are trying to find a solution to this. An open source film scanner would be an excellent start! ! Any help would be greatly appreciated! ! I am so pumped. That's all that we've talked about. There is no plan, there is no agreement, there is nothing else other than an email exchange. But I'm pumped, and I want you to get pumped. This is so cool. It also points to the need for some creative thinking around the labor side of scanning. We can't make labor any less time-consuming or expensive than it is. But if it's easy enough to use a Kinograph for someone to get a couple hours worth of training on, and it's cheap enough to buy or get donated 5 machines, then you can bring some volunteers in on the weekends and run 5 times the speed that you would get out of one very expensive machine that you would definitely want to pay a paid professional for, which are hard to come by and rather expensive. So maybe we have solved it, or we're getting close. I also need your help here, because if you have any ideas about grant sources that can pay for multiple machines, And, you know, I think I should be there, you know, to oversee things, make sure it goes well, and see the northern lights. That stuff takes forever, and that's why I started this conversation now. The plan, I don't want to go there until I'm 600% sure that Kinograph is going to work for them. So we're going to do the pilot phase. I'm going to go back to Jordan, and then I'm going to publish the results. And if those are good, then I'll say, let's do it. Because I don't want to go up there and half-ass scan their films or give them something that they don't want, obviously. Okay, now I'm at 5 minutes. Let's see if I can finish the rest of this. The lights. So what do we have to do to get to pilot stage? Lights, motors, testing. Kind of in that order too. That's the way it's working out anyways. If we get the lights on and the motor situation is solved, which also includes things like tension and other sensing, then we can start scanning. And things will not work at that point, and then we'll just fix those as they come up, and that's to be expected. So that's pretty good. That two big things, but we're getting real close on lighting. Pablo Miliani, hallowed be his name, has finished another circuit design that is going to allow us to control 4 channels, red, green, blue, and white, all from within the microcontroller digitally. Or that also allows us to do it with knobs, right? Because the knobs can spike to the microcontroller that can then spit out the digits for the driver. It's big at the moment because we're going with through hole, and this is just 1/4 of it. They're going to stack on it. This is for one channel. He's using, he's mentioned it in the forums, he's using a current mirror design, which I still don't know anything about, but I am excited to learn about when I have time to breathe. And if it works, I'm waiting on the parts to arrive. They were supposed to arrive tonight, and I was going to do this video and be like, there's light. It's not going to arrive till tomorrow, and I may not have time to do it because I'm out of town this weekend. But if it works, then we can make the circuit smaller eventually. These are the little light modules. These are working great now, and I've got my whole SMD soldering set up working really well, so I can pump these out. And soon I won't even have to do that because I'll just get them manufactured in batches. It'll be much easier. So not a lot on here. There'll be 4 of these on the sphere in 90-degree segments. It's going to be a lot of light. We may not even need that much. Okay, motors. 2 approaches, brushed, brushless. It's pointed at me, not you. Brushless, no, sorry, brushed. Brushed is interesting because the contact inside the motor between the coils and the armature, I forget all the words right now, I always do this, allows us to send lots of current, and that's good for power. So that means smaller motors, more, smaller. Okay, so I'm using, we had that working, right? Kind of, but it turns out that we didn't really have the control we wanted. It was a little bit finicky, and I really like Jeff Conter's idea of constant power, and that's kind of where we're headed. So I'm working with a consultant, and we picked out a new driver. This is a Palulo G2, highly available and very powerful, and it also gives us some opportunity to get some data off of it while it's actually working. I think it's a I2C connection, for those of you who know what that is. So that's exciting. I'm going to be using pancake motors. This is bigger than the one I'm using, but this is all I have off the machine at the moment. These are brushed. They're more than we need right now, but if they work, then we can replace them. Microcontroller. We're going to be using the Teensy. I talked about this before. It has a lot of advantages. I'm going to come back to that. One of those advantages I'll talk about now are counters and timers that are really fast and don't interrupt the main loop cycle, which is good for timing, basically, when you're doing something really fast and that needs to be very precise every time. And then the other motor option is brushless, and it's not so much that I need it to be brushless, it's that a forums member, Robin Jones, introduced the group to this guy, which I ordered on his recommendation, and which he showed in the forums working on his scanner that is going to be able to do 35 and 16. Robin knows what he's talking about, and he set this up, and it's working for him. And so I'm going to try to get it working for me. Now, he hasn't done full tests with full reels from beginning to end yet. He may have by the time I release this. So he and I are in contact about how to set that up, and he's been very helpful. So thank you, Robin. And basically, this is a motor driver with its own microcontroller, capable of setting different modes in the motors, and modes being different ways of monitoring its performance and adjusting the output, such as torque mode or constant speed mode, both of which we want, and would approximate constant power. What I like about this is if we don't like O-Drive or O-Drive goes away, we can rip it out, replace it with something else, and we don't have to change any of our circuits. We just have to change a little bit of the code that communicates between the Teensy and this. That brings me to sort of, and it comes, what I also love about O-Drive is that they kind of provide a whole kit for you if you want to pay for it. So they give you motors that they know work really well. These are the brushless motors. They are heavy. I think they're going to be totally fine. I don't know why I can't figure out how to show you things. And it comes with encoders on the back. It comes with 3D printable files for the enclosures. It works. Like I can order one box and we have the whole motor system, and you can do the same. They ship worldwide. What is common between all these things, the Paloola driver, the O-Drive, the Teensy, even this motor, is that they're all made by one company. Now, I don't like that at all, because it means that it's not, what happens if they go out of business or decide not to, or if they discontinue any one of these products, or we want to alter them in some way and that violates their terms of service. This is not in line with our philosophy in the Kinograph community. However, I'm going to move forward with them anyway, because we got to get something that works. And from there, we can determine what about these is really working for us and see if we can recreate it if we need to or want to at that time. So I'm not going to worry about it basically for now. We'll figure it out later. And we're not in any trouble for doing what we're doing now as it is. So I look forward to the moment when I can get rid of anything that is proprietary, not open source, in other words, and or from a single manufacturer or supplier or source, because we want redundancy and transparency as much as possible. We'll get there. I mean, I have to do it with all kinds of things, like the software I'm using to design the machine and the electronics is not open source. I want to switch to an open source one, but right now is not the time to do that. Yada, yada. Okay, now I'm drifting. We're at 13 minutes almost. Last thing. On Instagram, a user, Jeremy Saltry, hit me up with a very interesting question. He said, are you going to be able to scan VistaVision with this? Is the aperture in your gate long enough? I said, what are you talking about? Looked it up. Sure enough, I had no idea that there is a format of VistaVision that is not within this usual, like if this is the film, it's longer than usual. Instead of the usual aperture, it is actually, and not, if you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about, and you know that I'm saying it wrong. But you also don't know that I'm not trying to do any harm here. All I'm saying is we need to widen the opening at the top of the sphere by 2 millimeters, 2.5 millimeters, I think, and we'll be able to scan that format in addition to all the other formats we will be able to support. This is a good thing. Thank you, Jeremy, for bringing it up. I'm saying this because I love the fact that the community is coming up with these ideas. I can implement them, and we all benefit, so keep it up. Keep them coming. We may not be able to do everything all at once here, but over time, we'll get everything you need. It's good to be alive.